Hello students, how are you? After studying the basic concepts of double and triple integrations and studying the first applications as area and volume, now we are ready to move further. In this lecture, we are going to study the next two applications of multiple integrals, that is center of gravity and moment of inertia. But before starting our today's lecture, let me remind you once again, if you haven't subscribed our YouTube channel Maths Mania yet, then please subscribe our YouTube channel to get the latest updates of our upcoming videos. So let us begin our lecture with the first application, center of gravity. Its definition: the CG of a body is the point through the resultant weight of the complete body acts. Many times in our daily life, we used to see this type of a picture on our streets, where a person tries to balance himself on a rope in the air by holding one horizontal pole in his hand. This is actually what we can say the real life example of the center of gravity of a body. Okay. So let us begin with their formulae. If we want to find out the center of gravity of an arc, as we can see in the figure, then the CG is given by CG of that complete arc from the point C to point D is given by small x bar comma y bar, an ordered pair, and it is defined as x bar is equal to integration of x dm upon integration of dm, where dm is nothing but the mass, and as you know very well, mass is equal to density into length, as we are considering arc over here. So that is equal to integration x rho, where rho is the density, into ds, and ds is the elementary length that we are going to integrate it for the complete arc length from C to D. So the formula is now integration of x rho ds upon integration of rho ds. That one is for x bar. Similarly, we can find out y coordinate as integration of y rho ds upon integration of rho ds. Okay, and if that rho, the density, is constant, then these formulae are reduced to x bar is equal to integration of x ds upon integration of ds, and y bar is equal to integration y ds upon integration ds. Next we'll see CG of a plane lamina. As you can see from the figure, if we have a plane lamina in a two-dimensional space, then the center of gravity of this plane lamina is given by, again, an ordered pair x bar comma y bar, where x bar and y bar are defined as these with this formula. X bar is equal to integration of x dm upon integration of dm. Now here, as we are talking about a plane lamina, this dm is nothing but the mass. Mass is equal to density into the area of this lamina, and here we are considering dA as the elementary area of this small area, okay, which we are going to integrate. So integration of x rho dm dA upon integration of rho dA is the formula for x bar, and similarly y bar is equal to integration y rho dA upon integration of rho dA. Okay. In a double integral form, as you know, we have already studied, for a Cartesian coordinate system, dA is equal to dx dy. So when we convert this formula in terms of a double integration, x bar is equal to double integration x rho dx dy upon double integration rho dx dy. This is the formula for x bar. In a similarly, we are getting y bar is equal to double integration y rho dx dy upon double integration rho dx dy. If you can observe these two formulae, you will see the difference between x bar and y bar. So when we have x bar in a numerator, in this double integration we have x as a multiplier, and in y bar we have a y as a multiplier of rho dx dy. So together this x bar and y bar represents the coordinates of the CG of this plane lamina in a Cartesian form. Okay. Now if this rho is a constant for this area, then these formulae reduce to integration double integration x dx dy upon double integration dx dy. Y bar is equal to double integration y dx dy upon double integration dx dy. Clearly, as rho is a constant, we can take common out from both numerator and denominator double integrations, which can be directly cancelled from numerator and denominator, and we'll get these two formulae for x bar and y bar. Okay. Next is note. If area is symmetric about x-axis, then x bar is equal to, this double integration will turn to again a single integration, the integration x as it is, but now dx in dy will reduce to y dx, as if we have already studied this concept in a area, that when symmetric about area is symmetric about x-axis and x-axis itself is the boundary of that area, then the integration double integration dx dy will turn to single integration y dx. So we are getting x bar is equal to single integration x y dx upon single integration y dx. And obviously, as the area is symmetric about x-axis, the center of gravity of this complete area will lie on x-axis, and as it lies on x-axis, y bar will be 0 for that one. How it is, that we are going to study with the help of particular examples in our further slides. Number 2, if the area is symmetric about y-axis, then obviously the CG will lie on y-axis, and in that case its x coordinate will be 0, so x bar will be 0, and as y-axis is the boundary of that half area of the given lamina, then the double integration for y bar will turn to a single integration y dx dy upon single integration x dy. Now this CG of a plane lamina in a polar form. Now in a double integral form for a polar system, if we want to convert a Cartesian to polar form, we have to use these relations: x is equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. And then we are getting value of a dA as we studied in a Cartesian form, dA equal to dx dy. Instead of that, dA here, the dA is equal to r dr d theta. And in that case, we are getting x bar is equal to double integration. According to the Cartesian form, we have x rho dx dy, but in a polar form we have x, value of x is equal to r cos theta, rho as it is, into, instead of dx dy, now here we have r dr d theta. So it becomes double integration r cos theta rho into r dr d theta divided by double integration rho instead of dx dy r dr d theta. So this is a formula for x bar, and y bar is equal to double integration y instead of y r sin theta rho instead of dx dy r dr d theta whole divided by double integration rho r dr d theta. So these formulae gives us the coordinates of the CG of a plane lamina in a polar form. अब आप में से किसी के मन में ये डाउट आ सकता है कि as we are solving this, we are using these formulae for a polar coordinate system, then how we are representing these points with x bar and y bar. So let me clear you one thing. Even though we are solving it with the with a polar form, at the end, when we solve these double integrations, all double integrations within the given limits, then surely x bar and y bar will be the constant values, and those will not depend neither on r and theta nor on x and y. So we can keep these notations x bar and y bar as a coordinates of center of gravity for a plane lamina as it is. In this one, now if again rho is a constant, density is a constant quantity, then these formulae reduce to x bar is equal to double integration r multiplied by this r will gives us r square cos theta dr d theta divided by double integration r dr d theta. Similarly, y bar is equal to double integration r multiplied by r will gives us r square sin theta dr d theta whole divided by double integration r dr d theta. rho and rho, as it is a constant, will get cancelled from numerator and denominator, and we are getting these two formulae. Then the next thing, note, if r varies from r equal to 0 to r equal to r, where r is equal to f of theta, that means r depends upon theta, and theta varies from theta equal to alpha to theta equal to beta, then above formula reduced to. So to elaborate this in a figure way, I have given a figure over here. Okay, so here we have a function r is equal to f of theta, where r varies from 0 to f of theta, that is along this curve. Okay, then and theta varies from theta is equal to alpha, that is the lower limit, to theta equal to beta, that is the upper limit. So we are finding out the CG of this plane lamina in a polar form, AOB, this plane lamina. Okay, and then in that case these formulae will reduce to, as we are putting the limits for these double integrations in a polar form, these can be written as x bar equal to integration alpha to beta, these are the limits over theta, inside bracket integration 0 to r, limits over r we have given over here, r square dr cos theta d theta. And using the concept of double integration, first upon let us integrate it with respect to r and then integrate it with respect to theta. Okay, divided by, similarly double integration alpha to beta, inside a bracket double integration integration 0 to r dr, and then with respect to d theta. So when we solve it further, we are getting x bar is equal to r square integration of r square is r cube upon 3, and when we put upper and lower limit, we'll get r cube upon 3 as a value of this bracket into cos theta d theta as it is, and we are getting 1 upon 3 in a numerator, and in a denominator integration of this inner bracket is nothing but r square upon 2, and when we put upper and lower limit, we'll get r square upon 2. So we'll get 1 upon 2 outside of this bracket, that has been converted in a 2 by 3 in this form. So finally at the end we are getting x bar is equal to 2 by 3 integration from alpha to beta r cube into cos theta d theta, whole divided by integration from alpha to beta r square d theta. With the similar calculation, this formula of y bar within these limits, given limits, can be converted into this one. Y bar is equal to 2 upon 3 integration from alpha to beta r cube sin theta d theta, whole divided by integration from alpha to beta r square d theta. So these are the simplified formula where instead of double integration we need to solve a single integration only. That is the main benefit of these formulae. Now after studying these one, CG of a solid. So the CG of a solid, obviously when we are talking about a solid, it will be in a three-dimensional geometry, and in that case the CG will have three coordinates, x bar, y bar and z bar in a three-dimensional geometry, and those are given by these formulae. X bar is equal to triple integration x rho dx dy dz upon triple integration rho dx dy dz. In a similar manner we can define the formulae for y bar and z bar. Okay, this is the CG of a solid in a Cartesian coordinate system. Now as we cannot expect these lengthy examples based on the solid. Okay, so we are not covering the other spherical polar and cylindrical polar forms of the CG of a solid. Now after studying all the formulae based on CG, let us solve some examples based on that. So first example, find the centroid of the area of the cardioid r is equal to a into bracket 1 plus cos theta. You know very well the nature of this curve. It is shown in the figure, where as we have already traced this so many times earlier before, you know this very well that this cardioid is symmetric about the initial line. So the upper half of the cardioid is exactly equal to the lower half of the cardioid, and we are going to find out the centroid of the area bounded by this cardioid. Okay, that means the shaded region area. So according to figure, the CG must lie on the x-axis as it is symmetric about initial line, and that's why surely y bar must be equal to 0, and in that case we have to find out only x bar. The formula for that x bar is 2 upon 3 integration from alpha to beta r cube cos theta d theta whole divided by integration from alpha to beta r square d theta, and that is equal to n upon d. Let us consider it as n upon d, where n represents numerator and d represents denominator. So let us evaluate them one by one, where n is equal to 2 upon 3 integration from 0 to pi, as we are considering only the region in the upper half of this xy plane. Limits of theta will vary from 0 to pi. A cube into bracket 1 plus cos theta whole bracket cube, the value of this r cube from the given formula, okay, into cos theta d theta. As a cube is a constant, we can take it outside of integration sign. So we'll get 2a cube upon 3 integration from 0 to pi, and then expand this 1 plus cos theta whole bracket cube, which gives us 1 plus 3 cos theta plus 3 cos square theta plus cos cube theta into cos theta d theta as it is. So in the next step, multiply this whole bracket by cos theta, you will get this whole term, and then after solving applying the reduction formulae for integration from 0 to pi cos raised to n theta d theta, you know very well value of this formula is 2 times integration from 0 to pi by 2 cos raised to n theta d theta whenever n is an even number, and it is exactly equal to 0 whenever n is an odd number. So by applying this formula, we are getting n is equal to 2a cube upon 3. The value of first term will become 0 because n is odd here. Then value of the second term will become 2 times. So 2 3s are 6. Integration from 0 to pi by 2 cos square theta d theta plus the value of third term, again as n is odd, it will become 0 plus 2 times integration from 0 to pi by 2 cos raised to 4 theta d theta. And then by applying the reduction formula for cos raised to n theta d theta, we are getting 2a cube upon 3 term as it is inside a bracket 6 times. Now 2 minus 1, that is 1, divided by 2. So we are applying the formula n minus 1 upon n into the multiplier, as n is an even integer, multiplier is pi by 2 plus 2 times 4 minus 1, that is 3 into 1 divided by 4 into 2, again multiplier is pi by 2, and with the simple calculation we are getting it as 2a cube upon 3 into 15 pi upon 8. You can cross verify this calculation, and at the end we are getting n is equal to 5 pi a cube upon 4. So this gives us the value of the numerator for this x bar. Now the next thing is d. According to formula, d is equal to, again in the upper half, theta will vary from 0 to pi, so integration will run from 0 to pi r square, that means a square into bracket 1 plus cos theta whole square d theta. Again apply the same process and simplify it further by using the reduction formula. Okay, integration of 1 is pi with the limit 0 to pi, then using reduction formula, as n is an odd integer here, value of cos theta, integration of cos theta within 0 to pi is 0, and by using a reduction formula for cos square theta, will get 2 times 1 upon 2 into pi by 2. Already we have studied it over here. So using the same bracket here, we are getting finally the answer as d is equal to 3a square pi by 2. Now once we got n and d, let us put them in the values of, in the formula for x bar. So x bar is equal to numerator 5 pi a cube upon 4 multiplied by 2 upon 3a square by pi, that means the reciprocal of that d, is equal to 5a upon 6. So we got finally x bar is equal to 5a upon 6. And as I already mentioned in the previous slide, whatever may be the coordinate system, either Cartesian coordinate system or polar coordinate system, at the end will get x bar and y bar as a constant values. So here we got x bar equal to 5a upon 6, and already we have defined y bar is equal to 0. So putting these two values in a coordinates form, we are getting the CG for the area of the cardioid is 5a by 6 comma 0. So this is the final answer for this example. Okay. Now, after studying the first example based on the polar form, let us study the next example for Cartesian form. So here we have the second one. Find the centroid of the area bounded by the curve y square is equal to 2a minus x equal to x cube. So here we have given an equation in a Cartesian form. So solution, if we trace the curve for this given equation, then we are getting this type of a figure, where easily you can see that the bounded region bounded by this curve is symmetric about x-axis, and that's why from figure it must be clear to you all that the CG must lie on x-axis, and if it is lying on x-axis, then its y coordinate must be 0. So y bar must be equal to 0, and in that case, as we are considering to find out the center of gravity, we are considering only upper half of this region. So surely x-axis will be the boundary of that region, and in that case dx dy, double integration dx dy will turn to single integration y dx, and hence we are getting x bar is equal to single integration x into y dx upon single integration y dx. We already studied this formula as an important note after the CG for a plane lamina in Cartesian coordinate system in our previous slides. So let us consider these as a n upon d, where n represents numerator and d represents denominator, and evaluate them one by one. So now n is equal to integration from 0 to 2a. As you can see, this limit we are going to integrate it with respect to x, so we must have integration with the limits of a, and in this region x vary from 0 to 2a. So we have taken the limits as 0 to 2a, x as it is. Now instead of y, we put a value of y from the given equation of curve as x raised to 3 by 2 upon under root of 2a minus x dx is equal to integration from 0 to 2a. After simplification, we are getting it as x raised to 5 by 2 into bracket 2a minus x raised to power minus 1 by 2 into dx, which is almost in the form of beta function, but not in an exact form of a beta function. So to reduce it to a standard beta function form, let us use the substitution. So if we put x is equal to twice at, so we'll get dx is equal to 2a dt, and the limits of x from 0 to 2a will change to 0 to 1 for variable t, and using these substitutions, now our value of capital N will become integration from 0 to 1 for x is equal to 2at raised to 5 by 2 into bracket 2a minus 2at whole bracket raised to minus 1 by 2 into value of dx as 2a dt, and after taking complete 2a term common out, we are getting it as 2a raised to power 3 integration from 0 to 1 t raised to power 5 by 2 into bracket 1 minus t raised to minus 1 by 2 dt. So now this remaining integration term is completely in a standard beta function form. So when we apply that formula, we are getting it as 8a cube, the value of 2a cube, into beta of 7 by 2 comma 1 by 2. You know very well how to evaluate this beta formula with respect to gamma function formula. So beta mn, using the formula, beta mn is equal to gamma m into gamma n divided by gamma m plus n. We are getting the value as 8a cube into gamma 7 by 2 into gamma 1 by 2 divided by gamma 7 by 2 plus 1 by 2, that is 4. And after simplification, using the gamma function formula, at the end we are getting n is equal to 5 pi a cube upon 2, which represents the numerator of this x bar. So after getting n, let us evaluate d. So again, d is equal to, within the limit 0 to 2a, integration of x raised to 3 by 2 upon under root 2a minus x dx. So now what is the difference between n and this d? Only this extra x term is not there. So again, using the same process that we have adopted here, we can solve this example with the help of the same substitution even. And at the end, we are getting it as 4a square into beta of 5 by 2 comma 1 by 2. When we convert it in terms of gamma function and further simplify it, we get d is equal to 4a square into 3 into 1 divided by 2 into 2 into under root pi divided by 2 into 1, and which is equal to finally 3 pi a square divided by 2. For this value of d, you can easily cross check all these calculations. I have skipped the minor terms over here. After getting values of n and d, let us put them in a x bar to get the actual value of x bar. So we are getting x bar is equal to 5 pi a cube divided by 2 whole divided by 3 pi a square by 2. When we simplify it, at the end we are getting it as 5a upon 3, which is again a constant quantity, remember. And now already we have defined a y bar equal to 0 here, and we evaluate a value of x bar as 5a upon 3. So let us put them together to define the center of gravity for the shaded region, and it is nothing but 5a by 3 comma 0. So this is the example based on Cartesian form. Now let us see the third example based on parametric curve. Find the centroid of the area of the curve x raised to 2 by 3 plus y raised to 2 by 3 is equal to a raised to 2 by 3 lying in the positive quadrant only. So you know very well the nature of this curve is, actually this is the asteroid, and the nature of that curve is shown in this figure, and we have to consider only the area bounded by this asteroid in a positive quadrant only. So from figure, it must be clear to you all that this shaded area is symmetric about this axis y is equal to x, and this is the axis of symmetry for this area. Remember this guys, in almost every example, the center of gravity for any area always lie on its axis of symmetry if it is symmetric about some axis. Okay, so according to figure, here also the CG lies on y equal to x line. Okay, and that's why if it is lie on that one, so x bar must be equal to y bar, and in that case we don't need to find them both. We can only find out only one of them. Okay, so in the first two examples we already seen how to find out the x bar using the formula for x bar. So in this example, let us use y bar formula to find out the y coordinate of center of gravity. Okay, and we know very well, as y axis is the boundary of this region, then the double integration formula for y bar will turn to a single integration y into x dy whole divided by single integration x dy. And again, according to similar to the previous examples, let us consider these integrations as n upon d and evaluate them one by one. Okay, so for evaluating n, instead of using this equation as it is in a Cartesian form, let us convert it in a parametric form. And these are the standard substitutions to convert this equation in a parametric form. X is equal to a cos cube theta and y is equal to a sin cube theta, which will gives us dy is equal to a sin square theta into cos theta d theta, and according to this substitution, x will change from 0 to a to theta from 0 to pi by 2. Okay, so the limits of x will change from 0 to pi by 2 in terms of theta, and now our value of n will turn to integration from 0 to pi by 2 a sin cube theta into a cos cube theta. This is the value of y, a sin cube theta. A cos cube theta is the value of x into dy, 3a sin square theta into cos theta d theta, and the limit are from 0 to pi by 2. Now how x is running from 0 to a? So clearly from figure you can see that the lowest value of x is 0 for the region and the highest value of x is a. Okay. Then after simplifying it, we are getting it as 3a cube, which is a constant quantity, into integration from 0 to pi by 2 sin raised to power 5 theta into cos raised to power 4 theta d theta. Now we can apply either a reduction formula here, or even we can use the beta function formula also. So let us apply the reduction formula. Then we are getting 3a cube as it is into bracket into bracket 5 minus 1, that is 4 into 2, into second bracket 4 minus 1, that is 3 into 1, whole divided by 5 plus 4, that is 9 into 7 into 5 into 3 into 1, into multiplier. But as both the m and n, that means the degrees of sine and cos, are not even, then the multiplier will be 1 here. And after simplifying this whole term, we are getting value of n as 8a cube upon 105. So this represents the numerator of y bar. So now let us evaluate d. So again, using the same substitutions, we'll get d is equal to integration from 0 to pi by 2, the limits for theta that we have obtained here. Then according to the formula, x into dy, value of x is a cos cube theta into dy, 3a sin square theta into cos theta d theta. When we simplify it, we'll get 3a square as a constant quantity, integration from 0 to pi by 2, sin square theta, the total degree of sine term, and cos raised to 4 theta, the total degree of cos term, into d theta. And again apply the reduction formula here, we'll get 3a square, same term as it is, then 2 minus 1, that is 1 in a first bracket, into 4 minus 1, that is 3 into 1 in a second bracket, whole divided by the sum of m and n, that is 4 plus 2, 6, 6 into 4 into 2. Every time reduce the number by 2, either in a numerator or denominator. That is the reduction formula for integration 0 to pi by 2 sin raised to m theta into cos raised to n theta d theta. And now here the multiplier, instead of 1 we have pi by 2. Why it is so? Because the degree of sine term and cos term both are even in this integration. So finally, after evaluation of this complete term, we are getting capital D is equal to 3 pi a square divided by 32. You can easily cross check this value. Now we got n and d. So let us put them to evaluate final value of y bar. So there must be a y bar as we are evaluating y bar here. So a typographical mistake here, you can ignore it, and we are getting y bar is equal to 8a cube upon 105 divided by 3a 3 pi a square divided by 32. So is equal to 256a divided by 315 pi. So this will be the final value of y bar. But as we have already, fortunately, we have already mentioned in this problem as x bar is equal to y bar. So we can directly call this value as value of x bar also, which is equal to y bar. And hence, by putting these two values of x bar and y bar together, the CG of this region of asteroid, the shaded region, is nothing but 256a upon 315 pi, comma 256a upon 315 pi. This is the required CG for the area of the asteroid in the first quadrant only. I hope you understand all the three examples based on centroid. Now, after completing all these examples, let me clear you some things, guys, that before solving the examples, we have studied all the formulae based on the CG of an arc, the CG of an area, and CG of a solid also. But I have covered only examples based on the CG of an area, because as in a CG of an arc, it involves only single integrations and simple types of terms over there. We cannot expect such examples in our university examination. As well as if we want to find out the CG of a solid body, then we need to find out three different coordinates, x bar, y bar and z bar. As you can see the length of these examples which we have covered in our slides, you can imagine the length of the example based on the solid region to find out the centroid of the solid body. And that's why, as those examples are too much lengthy as compared to the weightage, they never been asked in the university examination. So it is just enough to study the examples on the CG of the area or a plane lamina. So this is all about the centroid of the plane lamina or center of gravity.